Brought to you by Raising Cane's.
Are we active? We live?
We're active. We're back. Wait, can you talk into the mic?
Hello.
Oh, you just gargled into the mic. That's some ASMR. Some goth emo chick's gonna get off on that.
Yeah, that's the people we're trying to attract.
Some
nose
fairy,
rings.
fairy girls.
Yeah. What kind of coffee do you have there? That looks like it's going to generate some mucus.
It's the protein latte from Dutch.
How much does that run you? Like $5?
$7.
Really?
Yeah.
Dutch Bros is good. I mean, they've been thriving. I see so many Dutch Bros that get built up nowadays.
Yeah, they're from California and they came over and just like everyone did during COVID, but they're good. Protein latte, I like having that option at a coffee shop to have protein, have that extra gains because you say protein's the most important thing, right?
If you're not, I mean, you have to be protein dominant.
Yeah.
If you want to be any significant physique performance, you got to be protein dominant.
Yeah, good. What do you got in there? Some water?
Sweet tea. This is from yesterday. It's just, I mean, it's strong.
This is just, you put your own organic
ouncer.
Sweet tea in there. You didn't go to Cane's, did you? This is Robinson Training Co.
Yeah. I haven't had Cane's, though, in a while. Just the tea. I like the sweet tea. I used to buy the gallon of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Back in high school.
How long did it take you to go through a gallon?
2-3 days. Because I'm telling you, it's like I mean, it's almost like the same thing as like having chocolate milk. It's like you can just like chug it.
Oh, it's that
just,
good.
Like you have to restrain yourself and like keep it to a minimum.
It reminds me of the Duck Dynasty guy, Psy, the old man.
Is that the old man, the dad?
Yeah, who just drank sweet tea all the time.
Yeah, I mean There's someone asked me an interesting question one time. If you had to treat your hand, if you could have a liquid come out of each finger, one hand.
What the fuck?
So like, one finger could be like fucking cold brew. The next one could be like a Dr. Pepper. What would your 5 be?
Wow. Any drink?
Any drink. Any liquid.
Probably I'm going to go with Circle K Texas Pecan Coffee out of
Is that hot or
Pointer
cold?
Finger. I like it iced.
Okay.
So it's going to come out nice and cold. Finger 2, let's go H2O.
Water.
Yeah, I'll get some.
Any element combined with it?
Yeah, let's do Element, but unflavored Element because of the scandal with
maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin, so I can't have that in my blood. Third finger, this is where it gets tricky because I'm usually just coffee and water type guy, but I'm going to go ahead and fill in pinky finger as in tequila.
Tequila?
Just a little. Open your
It's
mouth.
like what's the guy from Austin Powers?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Evil?
Yeah, Dr. Evil.
Just a little squirt of tequila.
I'll do some freaking raw milk. I'm going to go raw milk.
You're just going to replace your finger with a cow's teat.
Wait, is the thumb a finger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you get 5.
So I got...
you got the coffee, you got the water, you got the tequila, you got the milk.
Tequila. I'm going to go organic raw milk, and I'm going to go some breast milk. Save it for a rainy day.
Problem. No Gatorade?
No, I stopped drinking
no energy
Gatorade
drink?
way back in the... No, not really the biggest on... See, I figured something out about myself is when I'm too caffeinated, like on an energy drink, it like does the opposite effect to what I want it to do.
You get tired or...
I almost like overburn my energy. My engine's running too high. And it's kind of hard for me to function. I guess that's jitters. People get jitters if they have too much caffeine.
Could be like anxiousness.
Yeah. A lot of that. I can't do it. That's why I can't have a lot of nicotine.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely hit periods where I'm either too stimulated with the nic or with the caffeine, and it's don't like really feel good. Like I feel like I start thinking too much of my body versus like
Yeah.
being action oriented.
Yeah, like being relaxed. I want to be in a relaxed state sometimes. Yeah. And so what about you? What's your five fingers of death?
Cold brew, tequila, water with a little bit of element.
Okay. Copying me, but it's okay.
Maybe some bone broth.
Whoa, yeah.
Bone broth in there. And then last one.
Bone broth, I like that. That makes me think of fasting.
What would be one more good one? Maybe some like gasoline. Straight into the car. Start a fire.
Think finger in there?
Yeah.
Usually a thumb in there.
I'm trying to think what other... I'm trying to think what other liquids like you interact with on a daily basis.
Water's number one. Water's king. I'm drinking a lot of milk.
Yeah.
Protein.
I could do milk. If I were to trade one, it'd probably be the gas for the milk.
Yeah. Gas is good, though. Always could use that.
You could also do like queso.
Fill up a bowl.
Honestly, tea, too.
Yeah.
Some tea would be good. I'd probably do like just some like green tea.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder, are you ever going to evolve from... I feel like there's an evolution here with caffeine sources. You start at Red Bull energy drink, and you merge to coffee, black coffee, cold brew.
Yeah.
And then it goes to that to tea. You think you'll ever get there? Where you're only drinking tea for caffeine?
I mean, I would hope so, because I feel like that's healthier. But for me, it's like the caffeine is like a ritual.
Dude, yeah.
Like
what's your
cracking it open. Yeah. When I got my haircut yesterday at 9 a.m, my hairstylist cracked open one of the white monsters.
Dude, those are...
Yeah, it's like Unleash the Beast.
That's like a fine line between that and...
I like the monsters, honestly.
The flavor?
Never been a Red Bull guy. Like, I don't understand how people do the Red Bull vodkas.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just looks... It's like that yellow... Ugh, it smells like battery acid.
That's like the drink where, like, if you're low on energy, someone's going to hand you one of those. Like, get out of your freaking funk and wake up.
Yeah, it's time to party.
Yeah, it's just time to party.
Yeah. But no, I would like to transition out because I think I have certainly a caffeine dependency.
I agree, me too.
But it's also one of those things where, like, well, if I'm using this to exercise, to prepare for a long work day, get through a longer work day, then I'm like, okay, it's not bad. Like, but there have been times I think I've become more sensitive to caffeine, where like normally I could drink an energy drink at 7 p.m. before a night workout and have no impact. But then if I go to a powder pre-workout, which I've been doing, I've been training at like 3, have the powder, it keeps me up. I can't sleep.
Really?
Yeah. Like the past, like my sleep schedule's been really off this week, but
yeah,
like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. Yeah.
Dude, we got to get you back on your circadian.
I know. It hasn't been good.
The timing of caffeine is really crucial. People always say not after 12, don't do it after 12, but today I didn't have any up until probably an hour ago, just like 1 p.m. And I was like, why do I have a headache? I'm like, I haven't had my caffeine yet. Because I'll do the pre-workout, and that's 200 milligrams, and I'll do that early in the morning, so it doesn't really affect my sleep, but we'll see how this does. Like, how much do you think milligrams is in this? More ASMR.
I don't know. I don't know. Because is it like
Making
a cold brew extract? Or is it, did it come like that, or did they mix
the
protein
protein milk in it?
So it's probably just a standard cold brew. So maybe like 200, 150 to 200, which isn't crazy.
Cold brew is strong, bro.
Yeah. It's concentrated. They go through like a different process. Did you see what I sent you on Instagram?
Oh, funny you bring that up. I've been on a little detox.
Oh, you've been on a detox? I haven't been responding. But it was like, like those super fancy espresso or Nespresso machines. And I was reading something about this guy who was, he was going through. Oh, that's what I meant to send you. But this guy was pretty much talking about like, he spent thousands of dollars on this really nice machine, and from the outside, it's like all steel and metal pieces.
Yeah.
But those are just covers for the plastic pieces. underneath. And so he was pretty much like trying to rebuild his machine with no plastic, and talking about like the PUFAs and some of the other things. But the thing I sent you was about the Kerrygold butter.
Oh, we've been on that, the Irish.
Yeah, and so the film, the paper that it comes in is like full of chemicals.
Heavy metals.
Yeah. And I was disappointed because that's I like would
that was my go-to.
Go to that butter. Like, okay, this looks good. It's healthy.
Not to mention the marketing's pretty good. It's like that nice
like a gold bar
packaging. Yeah. Well, I saw Paul Saladino. He recommends this one butter. I got it in the fridge right now, so I think that's what I'm gonna move forward on. I feel like he's a great resource if you want to just be all natural.
Yeah.
He did a freaking video of his house in Costa Rica.
That's insane.
He did an MTV like kind of cribs tour of it.
Yeah.
Bro, dream house.
I mean, he's living the life.
View of the jungle, view of the river. He's got a nice pool, and he fits out his house to be like super, no chemicals, no, it's all organic stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have any Wi-Fi router. He has an Ethernet cable that he plugs into his phone to use, and his laptop.
Dang. So
yeah,
he's like pretty disconnected.
Full tilt, yeah.
You remember those two twins from Nashville, the Winkelhaus twins?
Yeah.
They went and stayed with him.
What?
In Costa Rica. Yeah, they went to his house and swam with him and did some of these excursions. Yeah. I don't know how they knew him. I think it was like through a connection of like like those accounts like Carnivore Really Is,
yeah.
Soul Bra. Like,
that's
somehow
sick.
they connected. And so, yeah, they flew out to Costa Rica and hung out with him for a little bit.
Man. That'd be, honestly, that's kind of a dream, just to like have like a pad like that out in the jungle or in the mountains.
Yeah.
And be making money, like, or you don't even need to leave. Like Paul Saladino's making money.
Cheaper to live there too, I would assume.
Yeah, I definitely, for sure. So he's definitely doing well.
Just pack up our shit and go move out there, find some real estate.
Yeah.
Why not?
That would be freaking crazy. And he's getting, he's swimming in the ocean every day. He's getting sunlight every day.
And he was like a medical doctor?
Yeah, he was a doctor. And then he kind of, I don't know what it was, where he flipped and kind of like went full like red pill kind of. I don't know what it was.
I feel like there's been a lot of those types of people that come from the medical community and then eventually transition into running their own business. Brigham Bueller.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Who's the carnivore guy?
Are you talking about Liver
Mike
King?
Baker, Sean Baker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not Liver King. But Saladino. There's people Gary Brecka, kind of to some degree, which I listened to one of his clips on PBD talking about him and Grant Cardone.
Tell me about him, because I keep seeing Grant Cardone's name.
Yeah, Grant Cardone, I don't know what he is like, what's that guy that Cal likes? Tim Elliott, like that sales dude. He's like the tan David Goggins.
Oh yeah.
Just like it's kind of just scammers, people that are knowledgeable and they've got a certain persona, charismatic to some degree,
successful business guy, like pay $15,000 and come have lunch with me.
Yeah, and it's like we're gonna 10x. I mean, Grant Cardone's thing is like 10x. We're gonna 10x your business. We're gonna 10x your company, your lifestyle. Good. And I remember back in the day on Facebook, like watching, they would do like these interviews, like on the spot interviews. So these people that would interview for his company, he'd have like them all in a room and pretty much like go through like a sales pitch, like on the spot.
Really?
And he would like critique the hell out of these people, guys and girls, and just be like, "You suck. You're this. You're never gonna. You're trying to work for me. You can't even fucking sell this pen. Like, you pussy." Yeah. And so, going through the Gary Brecka video, he was pretty much talking about how Gary and his wife started their own company. I can't remember the name of it, but they had pretty much went all in on their company, and through some connections, whatever, he got connected with Grant Cardone, and Grant Cardone or Cardone Capital ended up buying like 90% of his company, him and his wife's company. And they were on this partnership together. Hey, we're going to make you all this money. We're going to scale your business. We're going to do all these things for you. And pretty much they didn't do shit. And they started offshoring, like, I think they were selling supplements. It was like supplements and blood tests and these super detailed things. And so Grant Cardone, their company, started taking the tests that Gary Brecka was using and like putting them out to Austria. And that's where they bought like a competing company that they were going to run all the sales through, supplement company. And it was just like the super lowest quality of, things out there within the supplement and health industry.
So it sounds like he basically like, all right, this is how we're going to 10x your company. We're going to dilute your product that you've really created that's been so great in helping people. And we're going to find the cheapest possible way to do it and produce a cheap product.
Yeah, but that company, Grant bought another company to pretty much run the sales through. So instead of Gary using someone else to run blood tests through domestically in the United States, Grant decided to buy a company in Austria, a manufacturing plant, to do the same testing, to do the same supplements that they would now push those people through, because they wanted to get them into the Cardone investment, to kind of create an account. And now they own all that data.
Weird.
And he even mentioned that whenever he went on Joe Rogan, after that, Grant and his company sent him a cease and desist because he didn't wear the right shirt. And he said things that I guess kind of went against their company. So they ended up firing him. Yeah, they fired him. So now they're in a lawsuit. I don't know what the status of it is. But yeah, Grant Cardone's always been one of those guys that just, I don't know him personally, but he's just always rubbed me the wrong way. It's like these, fishy salesmen. Obviously, he's successful. He talks about his, his jets and bullshit like that all the time.
Yeah.
He has on these, celebrities to speak at his conferences. And it's like, okay, this guy's doing good. And then you get into business with him and he fucks you over.
Jeez, dude. It's
and there's like plenty of those people. Like the scamming industry right now is like crazy.
Yeah, you hear about a lot. Crypto scams. There's a toll tag scam going on. People get a text like, hey, click this link. That you get a text saying that you'd gone through the toll. And it's like, click this link to pay up on your toll. And you click on it, and apparently that's how they get you.
Like as soon as you click on the link?
Yeah, but I had always heard that never click on a link in a text. Even if it's like, I got a letter from the IRS saying, hey, Jack, you're going to get a $1,400 check.
Like a refund?
For XYZ. And I'm like, okay, like, come to find out, no, I didn't get shit.
It was a fake letter?
Yeah. It's
and think about how many people are
scams.
getting those letters and, oh, shit, I got to go pay this. Or, let me type in my information.
Really, it comes with experience because I got scammed when I was selling shoes.
Yeah.
This guy, what I found out, so the story was I had gotten, I can't remember what, Jordan 3s, some mints, they're sweet, a bunch of other like clothes, and I was listing them on eBay. And this guy messaged me and says, hey, I want to buy all your stuff. And I'm like, probably 16 or 17.
Probably like, hell yeah. Like
I'm like, oh my God, yeah, let's go. This is easier than I thought. And come to find out, he's like, okay, just ship them out and then I'll send you the payment after. And in my mind, well, yeah, now I know. It's like, dude, first you got to get the payment. But yeah, now I know there's like people that will scam.
So you shipped them out?
Oh yeah, I got scammed. I sent them everything.
And you're like, all right, man, I just sent it to you. Give
Crickets.
me money.
Yeah. Ghost.
How many pairs of shoes you send them?
It was one pair, but it was one pair of shoes and like a couple t-shirts, and it was all my inventory. So, but
death to those people, man. Honestly, cut off their hands, like hang them in the streets.
For real.
But yeah, you're preying on people.
Yeah.
Imagine like
scheme.
If we had a grandma that was like 80 years old and she got a phone call. Dude. Hey, ma'am, like you've got a balance in your account. We need you paid off. She's like, oh, okay, let me grab my credit card. Can you read me off the digits?
It's about 1.5
just like that,
million.
Her retirement's gone.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's sad. It's sick. But yeah, you going through a scam experience kind of was like a good thing, especially that it was like $300 or whatever.
Yeah.
But now I kind of have an eye to it. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not.
Yeah.
So, you ever been scammed?
trying to think if I have. I don't think so.
No, it's a big scam. I don't know if it's a scam, but I'm going to say it kind of is. It's the people that camp outside of Walmart. They got the tents, and it's like, excuse me, sir. Do you want to help childhood bullying? You want to stop bullying?
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, hey, I do. And you can't even look them in the eye.
Yeah.
But it happened to me the other day. Normally, I'm the person, like, they say my name. Or they don't say my name, but they call me. And I go over, and once I go over, it's like, oh, fuck, how do I get out of this?
I feel like you're hooked.
And then I end up paying something.
Really?
Yeah, but it happened probably a month ago. I went over and talked to them, and then I was like, no, I can't do this, and I walked away. I was like, dang, that felt good. That's a win.
Yeah, but that kid in Africa needed lunch.
Yeah. I'm a piece of shit for that.
I remember I tried to do that at the Walmart up here. There were some people out there, and I think I was coming back from work, and they had this booth set up, and I think it was the same thing, like Meals on Wheels type of stuff. And I remember like trying to donate, and he's like, oh, you got to be 26. And I was like, what? He's like, how old are you? I was like 25. And he's like, you got to be 26.
What?
Like, for what?
Yeah.
It's like,
so
I'm
you
legal.
Take my money.
Yeah. And there's this, I remember being in Nashville, they would always have people lined up on the streets, and it was like, some of them were like environment, climate related, and one of them was like meat sourcing. And I remember like having a conversation with someone about that, because that's something I kind of know a little bit about.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you kind of figure out they don't really know what they're talking about sometimes, and they just may be a mouthpiece for whatever company they're representing or organization. And but yeah, it's like the United States is certainly strange when it comes to like our donation, our tipping culture, because I've heard in other countries like tipping is like a sign of disrespect.
Dude,
some places in Europe, like you don't tip, and like if you try to tip the server, like fuck you, like I don't want your money, because they're getting paid enough. And so it's just,
that is weird.
it's a weird place. Like even at the fucking gas station, bro, there's a tip thing after I pay my card
for a candy bar.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to leave a tip? I'm like, for what? Get your coffee. Hey, flip the iPad around.
Well, yeah, I just went to Dutch Bros, and it's like, what do you want, sir? I was like, just give me the protein latte. What size? Small? It's like, okay, it's just going to ask you a quick question right here. Just answer it right now.
They're like, right there.
Answer it right here. It's already at 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like this quick finger signature, and then move on.
The worst is if you're ordering like a cheeseburger at a counter, and then they flip the iPad around. It's got like the flip thing.
Yeah, and it's like 15%, 18%. 20 or other, and
Dude,
it's sometimes already pre-selected.
Or
so like,
it's worse if you wanted to get out of it. You have to click like 3 other buttons. And you're like, what the fuck? So it's easier just to click.
Yeah, that needs to be eliminated.
Because like a tip should be kind of like an incentive for someone, or like kind of a reminder, like, hey, you did a good job.
Yeah.
Like this is what you should do moving forward.
Yeah.
Or if you don't get tipped, then it's like, oh, why did he not tip me? He's just an asshole. Maybe, but maybe I did something wrong.
Yeah, but it's also some jobs there shouldn't be a tip thing when it comes to that. Like, there's plenty of purchases that I've made where some people are worthy of a tip, and others where it's like, you're doing your job that you're getting paid to do.
Yeah.
Going to a restaurant's a different thing. Server, you're getting paid $2 an hour, sometimes $0. So
Exactly.
They rely on tips. But yeah, it's like we spend so much fucking money on tipping. It's just ridiculous.
I went to Smoothie King the other day, and I ordered my smoothie. It was kind of a long line, and I forgot to put my enhancers in there. I forgot to get the vitamin immune boost and all this stuff, the collagen. And I was like, okay, I'll just do it at the window. Surely they can do that. They can just press it and charge me for that, and then pour some vitamins in the thing.
Yeah. Open
the window. It's like, I was like, hey, sorry, I forgot. Could I add some enhancers? She's like, no, it's already made. And I'm just like, okay, here's my card. And then they gave me the worst smoothie ever. It was like ice, peanut power plus whatever with ice, and it tasted horrible. I was with someone. I was like, am I tripping? Like, is this horrible? And they were like, yeah, that's bad. You should go back.
Like it just tasted.
It tasted like it was literally like chunks of ice blended up with like a little bit of like peanut butter flavor.
Ugh.
And I was like, maybe I'm like, am I getting sick? I can't taste things. I was like, this tastes horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person to go back and like complain and do all that. But I was like, dude, this is horrible. Like I should go back.
Yeah.
Because this is a horrible product. And I want to, you know.
You paid for it. You want to make sure you get the value you paid for.
That's one thing too. And that's how the business gets better. You know, when you did a bad job and someone comes back and complains, and they know like, okay, like I can't fuck up. Like I got to make the smoothie right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a mistake, but they ended up remaking it and it tasted much better. It tasted kind of like they just put a scoop full of sugar back in.
Yeah. Well, some of those places too, like the ice can be really nasty.
Oh God.
Like they don't clean out the ice coolers.
That's the hidden one, the mold and the ice.
Yeah, it's like scrape off all that gunk on it.
That's nice.
Yeah. But no, I'm definitely the person where like if I order food somewhere, comes out bad or wrong, like I feel confident enough to like, you know, one, you want to be polite and bring these things up because you can definitely be an asshole and then things don't get solved that way.
Well, that's what happened because the person I was with was like, okay, let me tell them. Because like they thought that the way that I would say it would be come across sassy or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that, you got to really like make sure to be.
It's like, hey, you know, so how did that person phrase it? Did you go inside?
They were like, they got up close. No, we went inside.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, sorry, this
like
smoothie
standing behind, like cowering.
Like, smoothie doesn't taste too good. Like, you know, it's just not really good. Can we have it remade?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll do that.
We're like, yeah, the person worker's like, here we go.
Yeah. Worst day ever on the job.
Yeah. But that's, you know, and it's kind of like a split field because, you know, every time I go out to eat, it seems like sometimes this conversation gets brought up about like, what would you do if your meal was, you know, it was taking forever or it came out cold. And like nowadays with how expensive everything is, like, fuck yeah. Like if this comes out bad, like I'm going to ask them to remake it.
100%.
And like, that's not my fault.
No.
And I'm not saying it's necessarily anyone's fault, but if you own a business and customer service is the number one thing, like you make sure your members are happy or your people are happy, because then you screw me over, I'm going to Yelp. I'm telling my friends. I'm telling, hey, don't go there. They don't take care of your people.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to figure out a way to communicate, hey, I want this remade, or hey, can you throw this back on the stove for another minute or two?
Yeah.
But then when the employee, you know, gives you an attitude with that, it's like, all right, we started a war.
Yeah, really. I mean, I haven't had that happen to me at a restaurant. But like, say you were at a restaurant and service was poor, bad. Yeah. And you're say you're on a date. Mm-hmm. Are you tipping 0? And you're going to get into a full conversation with your date about why you tip 0. Maybe they're like, oh, it's okay. Like it was their first time like serving. Like maybe they had a bad day.
Yeah, I don't care. So I remember one time we went to, I went to, you know, 60 Vine seems to be my fucking spot. But
oh yeah, place is good.
You know, I went there one time with some friends and made a reservation and got sat in like the worst spot in the entire restaurant.
I hate when they do that.
And I was like, that already kind of set the tone for like, bro, like this is a beautiful restaurant. I enjoy coming here for the atmosphere, and they put us upstairs in the fucking corner. And it was just like, it was just a horrible spot to be in. And so that already was kind of like, all right, like, okay, you know, we'll handle this. And then it just took forever. We ordered drinks first, took probably 30 minutes for our drinks to come.
Lord. And
then they're like, you don't want to order appetizers? And I'm like, no, like I'm waiting for my drink to show up. So then we finally order some appetizers because it's been so long. The appetizers come out like instantly, like a minute or 2 minutes. Like we order it and then she comes back up the stairs and she's got them. I'm like, we don't even have our fucking drinks yet. Like, damn. So there's stages, and I learned this just from being a server and working in the restaurant industry. You have to, they call it like coursing the meals.
Yes.
And some restaurants will like, they want you to order everything at once and then they course it out for you, which that's okay too. But like you don't give people their food before their drinks. That's just like a big rule. And so like if I order a cocktail, the cocktail needs to come to the table first before food hits the table.
Definitely.
And so I remember it was just like a horrible experience. We only got 2 drinks because they were taking like 30 minutes a pop. And I finally, because I had worked there, I think I approached one of the other employees or one of the other managers on the side. I was like, hey, like this has been a really bad experience. And they were like, oh, well, your server, it's her first day. And I'm like, dude. And I knew it was because the place that they sit those people at, it's like you're the low tier server. Like this is not the good section to be in.
So at that point, are you having any sort of compassion for the person?
No.
Wow. Because it's cutthroat like that.
I mean, that's just like,
I mean,
I can be understanding, but she also never like notified the table. And it's one thing like if the restaurant's busy or the bar is backed up, and then that's when you go up to your table and say, hey guys, like want a little bit of a wait right now. I'm trying to get everything out as fast as I can. Just like, please be patient with me, versus, hey, where's our server been? It's been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they come back over like, oh yeah, we're busy. It's like, that's not the right way to approach it. So you can always, if that's inevitable, you can put yourself in a better position by just communicating that stuff.
Yeah. I also agree with you though that like, yeah, you shouldn't feel like bad for like telling the truth about something and notifying them that you had a bad experience, because that's how they get better.
Yeah.
But I had an experience one time. I was down in Houston area. I was on this area, Kima Boardwalk area. It's kind of a cool, nice area on the water. And I was eating at this seafood restaurant. We go in, you know, it's like 3 p.m. It's kind of like we're hungry. It's not like a rush time. And there's a couple families scattered around, and they literally sat us, what's it called? Right next to like this family with a baby and like a full table full of like tourist families, and it's like I'm on a date, and I'm like, this is bad. So I went up, I was like, hey man, there's like 3 open tables like right next to the water with great view. Like, can we please sit there? Like, I mean, I'm on this date. Like, can you just hold it down for me?
Hook me up.
Yeah. He's like, oh, well, we usually keep those open for bigger parties than 2. You know, it's like 6 top table. Yeah. But it's right. It's got the best view. Yeah. And he's like, honestly, I don't know. And I was like pressuring him, like, dude, come on. Like this, you sound us horribly. And then finally he was like, okay, fine. You guys go over there. And I was like, all right, let's go. Let's go over here. Mm-hmm. Because it's like curating an experience. Yeah. And
yeah,
it's
you
like,
sit next to the fucking baby and it's screaming and vomiting.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not.
And I'm packed in, like everyone's packed on the side, like they're expecting like a huge amount of people to come in. Yeah. Which kind of did happen. So I was like, someone can sit at the end. I don't care. It was just like.
But it's also point, like you're there now.
Yes. And the customer's like, always right.
Yeah.
So Mr. Krabs.
You should be able to walk in and be like, hey, do you guys have a preference on where you want to sit? Yes. Outside, inside? Okay, outside. And then that's where I would be like, if I knew that those seats were available, like, hey, we'd like to sit near the water. Like, can we sit at this table? And if they're like, no, it's like, well, why? Oh, well, we're saving it for a later party.
I felt bad too after that happened, because a lot of people did come in and they were sitting people around and people were waiting. And it's kind of like we were seated at this table having our own time. And there's like 4 open seats right next to us and there's people waiting. But at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm having a date. I want this girl to have a great time, and I want I want her to enjoy it. Yeah. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to seem like a scrub over here in between like a bunch of babies crying. But I felt bad too, and so I ended up tipping that guy more.
And that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I left and I was like, here's $20, dude. Thank you.
Thanks for holding it down. We had a good time. Yeah. And you come back and
that's freaking America.
Yeah. Well, it's like your dollar means the same as that next party. So it's like, yeah, man,
the restaurant industry is
kind of cooked right now.
I agree.
Like it's just nothing's really the same. The customer service sucks. You're spending a lot of money for food that's really not that good. Yeah. Not that high quality. And yeah, it's like if the seating's bad, that just throws the whole thing off.
Yeah, that can really, from the jump, it will.
But that's why sometimes you got to be commanding.
Yeah,
and walk in and know where you're going and be like, hey, we're sitting out there.
Tell them. Do their job for them.
Because they hand you a menu, you just slap that shit out of his hand.
Like, sir, this is reserved for Alex Rodriguez and J-Lo.
We actually went, when I went on a date, a few weeks ago, we went to that wine bar out near the Trinity in Fort Worth. And it was kind of the same thing. Like, they had this beautiful view overlooking the river. Sunset was falling straight into it. We got there specifically to be able to watch the sunset. Yes. And it's kind of this big property. And the bars on the backside, they had like live music. And then like they had another level down, steps down, and they had, those like electric fireplaces and chairs next to them and stuff.
Sounds nice.
And so they had like some other tables, but they all had reserved tags on them.
Oh, yeah.
And so the only available seats were at the front facing the fucking street. And so
Rip.
I literally like I grabbed someone. I was like, hey, like this says reserved right here. Like when are these people coming in? Like, oh, 7. It was like 6. And so I said like, hey, like, are we okay sitting here till these people arrive?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. And so like I asked
Good.
and sure enough, they arrived at 7 and someone came and informed us, hey guys, they're here. And so we happily moved and found another spot. But it's like sometimes like you got to kind of ask for it and like put yourself in it, especially, if you're there for the experience, because it would have been a completely different night had we had to sit at the front and not watch the sunset that we had gone there to go see. And, just people have to be nice and considerate, because you would think if I'm the manager, if I'm the employee and I'm going to tell these people no, it's like, would I want that for myself if I was coming here? It's like, probably not.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, it's reserved. And I said, oh, do you have to pay a fee? And it's like, no, you just had to call before. So there's people aren't even paying anything for these spots. It's just, they called you an hour before and said, hey, we want a spot.
Well, yeah, and there's a difference between calling and reserving a table. Like, if I call and reserve a table, I'm expecting I'm going to be at that table when I get there.
On the fucking time, on the dot.
So, like, there's a part of that where it's like, okay, the restaurant has to protect that for the person who's calling. But you got there before and they worked it out, which is nice. I'm sure.
And like bigger parties, you usually get like a deposit or a card on file. And so it's like you have ways to protect yourself as a business. Like if those people no show. Same thing with like any type of scheduling. Like if you're going to put me in your schedule, like I need money. Mm-hmm. Like I'm reserving your spot. I'm blocking that hour off for you. I need compensation or some type of collateral.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, like when you borrow like a club set from the driving range for the golf course, you put down your driver's license.
Like when you book your tattoos, are you paying before you get there? Or is it typically after?
Typically it's a deposit, like a 10% deposit up front.
So it's kind of the same thing.
But yeah, it's true. Cause like if I cancel, she's out of work for the day.
But she had blocked off that entire time for you.
Yeah.
So it's like they get fucked while you think you can just be playing with people's time.
No, dude, that's what I hate the most. It's like, we say we're going to do something at this time. Let's be there at that time.
Yeah.
But what I learned when I went down to Belize back in the day was that it's kind of like an American thing.
What is?
Being on time. A lot of cultures, like you say, all right, let's meet here at 2. And when I was there, they wouldn't show up till like 3. And it's so weird. But it's like, okay, you said you're 2, but you're here at 3. Like, what's the point? And it's just different. They're on island time.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
There's like
They're
people that,
alert.
yeah, there's people that think that chronically showing up late is like a personality trait.
Oh, worst.
It's like when they say to meet at 9 o'clock and I'm just getting ready at 9. It's like, well, then you're inconsiderate. Like that's not
a personality trait.
Yeah, it's like that's not cool. Because then, like, imagine the other people that are waiting for you. It's like, oh, where's this person at? And you show up an hour late. And it's like, I'm not then adding more time to compensate for you.
It's like they're so important that they show up late. And we're all waiting on them. Oh, yeah. Where are they? Oh, she takes a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I know there's some people that intentionally do that to kind of make it more about themselves.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Show up a party, a bar. Yeah, I'm going to show up late and come in and you know, the spotlight hits you as soon as you walk through the door. It's like, I feel like some people think that's what it is.
So is that narcissism? Or you're so...
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Some form of it, at least.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of narcissism.
Oh, God.
No, we'll get to the book later.
Yeah, we will.
There's some interesting stuff in there. But, yeah, there's been some shit kind of going on this week, I feel like. The Oklahoma fires.
Yeah, I was going to go to Oklahoma.
Really?
I was going to go to Oklahoma on Friday. And last minute, I checked the weather app. They're like 70 mile per hour winds, like high chance of fire.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm working on this property with this older lady. She's selling her property, and I called her. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming up Friday. Is that cool?" She's like, "Yeah, it's cool." And then Friday morning comes around, and I called her. I was like, "Hey, like, I can't come. It's bad weather." She's like, "Oh, it's just a little wind." And she's like, just this hard old lady from Oklahoma, just like, "Oh,
just weathering the storm."
Yeah, we don't care about that. But shit, it looked
apocalyptic.
Yeah.
The last 2 or 3 days. And I thought it was just like, I don't know, smog. It could have been a bunch of different things. And
there was 18-wheelers.
So oh, yeah.
That tipped over because of the wind.
And it's
in Texas, too.
Think of like all the damage that causes, the money for some of these like transportation supply chain companies. It's like,
oh, yeah.
You know, obviously there's a lot of pressure for on-time delivery. You know, I think that's why they're driving in those storms. You know, it's like get the product there on time. That's the agreement. But yeah, I watched a video of like Oklahoma State trooper who was like on the other side of this bridge, and it zoomed in all these 18-wheelers coming across. And it's just the things just get fucking tipped over. I saw 4 of them in a row. And at what point is no one like, "Hey, get off the roads. Like, we're not driving anymore."
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, yeah, that is scary. I mean, we think about, you know, being in North Texas is like, this is a really good spot for all weather. We don't get hurricanes here. We don't get wildfires. No. You know, there's tornadoes up north, high winds kind of in North Texas a little bit, but all things considered, it's a pretty good spot.
We get a lot of tornadoes here.
You think?
Oh, yeah. I remember reading one time that we get more tornadoes in the North Texas area than what's considered Tornado Valley.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit.
That could be a fact. That'll be a fact check.
But like,
I fucking hate driving through storms, man. I hate it so much. Driving in bad weather is like
terrible.
Yeah. Let me see.
There was a hailstorm in Cleburne the other day.
Really?
Hail was pouring. It looked like it snowed like 3 inches there. Golf ball size. My coworker's car got beat up, and he showed me this video of all the hail coming down, like, and it was hitting his back glass window, and he's like, "Dude, I'm surprised it didn't break."
You remember when we got stuck in that storm coming back from Arkansas?
Yeah, that was in Oklahoma.
Not fun. No, we were in like
weren't we like right on the border, Texas and Oklahoma?
We may have like just crossed into like Sherman or something.
Yeah,
we were in Texas though.
Yeah, and yeah, the cars were stopped under the overpass, and everyone else was just getting hailed on.
Yeah,
that was scary.
Yeah, Texas. Okay. Average number of annual tornadoes. This is 2003 to 2022.
Okay.
Texas 124, Oklahoma 66, Kansas being number 2 at 87.
Damn.
So on average, Texas is having more tornadoes than any other state, by a significant amount. Obviously, Texas is bigger too, so we've got more surface area. But
yeah.
But May is the most dangerous month for tornadoes.
Shit.
We're getting there.
Gotta hunker down, find the...
54% of tornadoes occur between April and June.
It's like we played this game in world history class. I can't remember what it was called, but it was essentially survival. Like we were traveling across the country.
Talking about like the Oregon Trail?
Maybe that was what it was.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
And you kind of rolled a dice, and then you drew a card, and it's like, oh, you just died of pneumonia.
Yeah. Oh, you just got syphilis.
Yeah. Oh, you broke your ankle on the trail, and now they have to amputate you, and you don't know if you're going to live.
Yeah, the wagon fell on you.
Go, storms are incoming. You're not prepared.
Yeah.
Your horses died. Like, we live Like, Mother Nature's real.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, it's really scary because just even like being in the water, right? Just feeling the power of the water. It could pull you under, throw you across it.
The tsunami's coming. Yeah. That's also, I mean, yeah, talking about like natural disasters. I mean, tsunami, hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires,
avalanche,
floods,
mudslide.
Avalanche, mudslide, volcano fucking eruptions. It's like good luck.
Yeah. I mean, I think we used to watch these crazy videos. I don't know what program on TV it was. It was probably Spike TV, where it'd be like top 10 natural disasters. Number 9, Chile earthquake.
Yeah, 8.9.
8.9. It's like apartment buildings just crumbling.
Yeah. I feel like that was on like Nat Geo, because I feel like that channel used to be on at No Frills.
So we sneak in and watch that. We would watch that one, and then the animal encounters.
Animal encounters and like
Those
police chase.
Yeah.
Police interactions.
The animal encounters are the best.
Yeah.
It's like the guy in Thailand. He's like putting his head in between the alligator, and it's like.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for those people though, honestly.
Yeah, or the people like pointing at the gorilla. They're like, the gorilla's like,
and then it just rips their arm off.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Cal watched some of those videos, animal encounters, and you know, a lot of this stuff happens at like circuses. You know, these people that have been torturing bears forever, and they snap. And I was actually talking to someone who lived in California. Because they have, you know, such a big bear population out there. And like, you know, obviously if you're building apartments and housing and business district and you're, you know, creeping into the wildlife reservoir, you know, you're going to get bears roaming through neighborhoods and mountain lions and
displacing them.
Yeah, it's like, and that's a natural thing that happens, unfortunately. But I read that they don't like, and this could be wrong, but this is what I'm pretty sure is correct, is that they wouldn't like tranquilize these bears and like put them back out. They fucking kill them.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like that just like really makes me feel bad.
Yeah. Does it? Because bears are fucking killers, though.
Yeah, but they're in. It's like the same reason like you get attacked by a great white shark and everyone's like, kill the sharks.
Oh yeah. No, I get your point.
And then, like, you know, there's videos of these people on safaris and they're getting chased by elephants and stomped. You know, their carts are getting rolled over. And it's like the elephant is, like, the most intelligent species out there. So if it's telling you to get the fuck on, you better get the fuck on.
Yeah, for real.
And
people kind of
hit it with sticks and stuff. And I'm like, I hope you get freaking squashed.
Yeah, there's some people that deserve what they get, you know. But, yeah, there's just, like, those animals. People think that, oh, it's, like, from the TV, from the movies, like I can go up and there's a word for it, like anamorphosize or something like that, where you kind of
like they kind of humanize them a little bit.
Yeah, something like that.
Like they don't think they're as dangerous or as primal as what they really are.
Yeah, like the freaking Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
Like the grizzly bears, the Bernstein bears, the
fucking Coca-Cola polar bear.
Yeah, they're all
like, oh, he just wants
cute.
He just wants a Coca-Cola.
Yeah. And it's going to be out of your own blood.
Yeah. Yeah. Just protect the animals. You got to protect them.
We do. I mean, we had a big mice problem at our office because they're building a bunch of houses right next to it.
Ugh.
Because, like you said, we're developing that land and all the wildlife's coming this way. And I would have mice in there pooping on my desk. Bunch of poop on my desk. And it's like this little like pellets.
Fucking contagion.
Yeah. And then I'd be up there early in the morning and I'd be working, and then out of the corner of my eye, see the mouse run into the cabinet. I'm like, did I just see that, or am I tired? And then we put down a mouse trap.
Snagged a couple of them.
Yeah. And it was like, it didn't even look real. They were like so tiny, but like their necks were like in the mouse trap, and they like, I just throw them in the trash. And it's like,
I hate like mouse and mice and men. What is that?
That's a Lenny.
Yeah.
Lenny's.
Oh my god, I hate those, man. They're disgusting. There's that video on. You can find this on. I think there was actually like a rat documentary that was on Netflix or something at one point.
Yeah.
It was like all the rats in New York City, and there's videos of people, you know, because they load up all their trash on the fucking streets, and people would go and like kick these mountains of trash bags, and hundreds of mice would just scatter, and they're like big, like rats too, of course.
God, catch a freaking disease just.
Yeah, they're disgusting. And their tails. I remember I had a friend who had a snake, like a pet snake growing up. And we would go to the, I think it was called like Petorama.
Yeah.
And that place was disgusting because I remember you'd walk in, they had like this, kind of like a tub almost of just like mice. Like the white mice.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you can feed to like lizards and snakes and stuff. And so we would go in. I'm probably like 10 or 11 or something. Go in and they literally give you like the same carton that you would get of like fried rice. They'd give you a carton and they just literally pick them up by their tails, close a carton, you go home and feed your snake. And you just lower it into the cage and the snake's kind of waiting in the corner. This, you know, mouse has no idea. And then
jeez.
Coil, or they just swallow it whole.
Oh, I wouldn't even want to have a snake as a pet.
No.
What if that thing gets out?
Well, there's especially in Florida, these people collect these like Burmese pythons and things as, you know, when they're baby snakes and have no idea that the size and the strength they can grow to.
Yeah.
And I think that honestly may have been on one of those like animal encounter shows of this family who I think had been raising this python. And they had like a young child, like a toddler. And I think the dad came home one time or heard like a disturbance and went into the kid's room. The snake had gotten in there and freaking strangled it. Yeah. Or it's the same thing, and these people release them in the neighborhoods. It's like now there's a 15-foot python just going throughout the neighborhood. It's going to eat every dog, every cat.
Jesus.
Little Timmy riding his bike.
I mean, it makes me think, kind of off topic, but you ever see that prank where they like clip the snake on the people's like shirt and they're playing golf, and you just
that would scare the shit out of me.
Same. You see the reaction. It's just yeah, and they're like tear their ACL just trying to get away from it.
Did we talk about this last time that there was like a UK study they were doing about like why adults are like inherently afraid of snakes? And
I think you mentioned something about it, but we didn't get into it.
Well, I'll have to try to find the video and I can send it. But they were pretty much just like doing this study, and it was these like babies almost like sitting on like a playmat, like a pretty big playmat the size of this room maybe. And you had these adults kind of back just observing and watching with video cameras and stuff, and they just had these snakes. They had a bunch of toys. Kids were playing with the toys. They just had snakes rolling around.
Were the babies scared?
No, they were picking them up. They were playing with them.
Really?
The snakes weren't like climbing on them or anything.
Huh.
And so it was, I can't remember what they, you know, the dialogue surrounding it of like,
yeah, what was the conclusion?
kids aren't, you know, inherently afraid of snakes. It's like something that we adopt as we grow older.
Wow.
And so it was like really interesting because these adults are like, you know, they can't even look because they're afraid of the snakes.
Yeah,
And these
snakes
kids have picking it up and, okay, I'm going to play with my toy. And, you know, they have no idea. They're not afraid of them.
That is fascinating. I guess it makes sense if like you were raised with wolves or whatever the case may be, or you're raised in the wilderness with these animals. You kind of think of them as like, oh, they're there, they're part of my environment, they're maybe my family or whatever, and you're not afraid of them. But we are, because we're not connected to them in that way. But the snake is like a real big symbolic thing, especially in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
The serpent representing Satan, especially in Genesis. But I mean, that's kind of surprising. I would think the babies would be afraid, but I guess they don't know any better.
Yeah, but then it's like the other side of things, and this is a good example of like children being afraid of clowns.
Whoa.
And it's like things that don't look like humans. And that kind of goes into like that uncanny valley complex.
Oh, God.
Which that could be a good clip for the pod, would be.
Uncanny valley.
Yeah, just like, why are we afraid of things that resemble humans, but we know that they're not? Like, why does that make us uncomfortable? It's like kids have never seen a clown before, but then you show them a clown and they're completely freaked out.
That
people
is
wearing
so
masks,
interesting.
and it's like, what's in our genetic code that's like telling us like, hey, we need to be cautious about this. Kind of the same thing with like skinwalkers. You can just like tell when something's trying to mimic human behavior, but that it's not that. Wow, that's like some freaky shit.
That
Slender
is,
Man.
yeah, like even my mind's going to this picture of like a human being, but like the eyes are really big and the mouth super smiled out. And It just looks freaky. But yeah, that is weird. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like has to do with like when we were hunter and gatherers and we'd see, I don't know, like monsters. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the explanation would be, but it's just like it's a state of uneasiness. Like I always reference that movie Coraline.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's like it's not claymation, but it's like what do they call those?
Stop motion
Stop
films?
motion, yeah. And it's just like, I remember seeing that trailer and I was like, oh, like I don't feel good.
Or
I just can't watch it, man. I cannot watch it because it just makes me feel like I don't feel good. Like
maybe
I literally
that's
don't feel
their
good watching
goal.
it.
They made that movie because they want you to feel uneasy watching it. I've never seen the movie, but like it makes me think of like how a lot of movies use things like that. Like there's a trailer, I can't remember what movie it was, but the trailer had a bunch of like jump scenes, and then one of the scenes was like a knife cutting the palm of someone's hand.
Ugh.
And it just immediately elicits like oh God.
Yeah.
Or like a fingernail being pulled back.
That's like The Ring.
Yeah.
That's like when they're on the boat and like there's that clip and it's it's like nasty teeth, bleeding teeth. They're like flossing and it's like making their gums bleed.
Like pulling hair out of your mouth. Like
yeah. Yeah, fingernails being ripped off.
Yeah.
It's just like rotten food.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, Coraline. And then I actually saw a clip the other day for that old Cat in the Hat, right? Was that what it was called?
Cat in the Hat always used to freak,
that movie.
freak
But
me
I remember
out.
watching that movie as a kid, and I saw a clip of it the other day, and I was like, "This is like disgusting." Like it was just
It's weird, right?
yeah. It's so the colors and like some of the facial distortions with the cat person and even some of these kids, like kind of goes back to like the Grinch.
I was about to say
Whoville.
that.
It's like
I hate the Grinch. Scared me when I was little.
yeah,
It's
it
weird.
did. Well, that opening scene of like the first movie is a kid in like the closet or like the assembly line, like looking for things, and like the Grinch is like up there, and yeah, it's just like dark. It's dark.
It's Dr.
Like there's something
Seuss.
dark about it.
Yeah, no, you're right on the money. That's probably what you said. The Uncanny Valley, the Grinch,
Uncanny Valley,
Cat in the Hat. Just these. I mean, they're human looking. They're tall. They talk. They have eyes, but they're not human.
Yeah, there's something in our code that's telling us to beware.
Oh, it's like shapeshifters.
Yeah, the skinwalkers.
Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm. Shapeshifters.
Huh.
And
Is
like
that a
people that
movie?
live out in like the Carolinas, I think is like the Appalachian Mountains, say this is where a lot of like that activity is. And there's also some weird folks out there in
bet.
Appalachia there's a huge Nazi influx.
What?
Yeah, just like mountain people, incestual families,
Jeez.
people living untouched kind of, and they say they hear shit out in the woods and like things that sound like mothers crying for help or babies crying, and it's like things that are mimicking humans to kind of draw you out there, and you get lost, and then all of a sudden you start hearing some footsteps.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, never go into the woods without a weapon.
A weapon and a compass.
That's good advice.
And definitely some extra food.
Yep. Yeah, it's creepy. It's making me think.
What's like the creepiest thing you think you've ever experienced?
Oh. Gee, creepy that I've experienced.
Any paranormal activity?
I want to say no, because I've had moments where and I think it all like starts in your mind with the paranormal and like the evil. Like you can allow that thought to fester and grow, and that's what the fear is. You can choose fear or you can choose faith. So you can have faith that everything's going to be okay, like there's not a demon in my corner of the room, like, or you could live with that fear and think about the fear more. And that's what I would do when I was little. After watching a scary movie, I would just be like thinking about that moment in the movie that scared me. And it would just like kind of grow, and then I'd be like kind of freaking out about it.
Yeah, you're looking under your bed. And
yeah.
You come up and it's actually behind you.
Yeah, if you ever look underneath your bed, you're living with some fear that you need to let go. You need to have a therapy session.
I used to sleep with my closet light on just because I was afraid. And I used to never be able to sleep with doors closed either. And now, like, I don't really think about that anymore. Like, I'd always have to have my bedroom door open so I could see.
Yeah.
If anything was coming over my head, to see it. And then you're, like, looking into the dark. You're like, is that something staring back at me?
I do have a moment where I did see something paranormal.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, I was living alone, and I was in my apartment. I was on the balcony.
Where is this at? Here?
No, this is in Benbrook.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking out the balcony, and there's a huge creek and woods back there, and there's train tracks, and there's like an electrical plant. But there's a windy road, and then it goes underneath the highway. So I've kind of got a view of all of that. And I was sitting there, and I'm looking, and I see this guy like on a bicycle, and it looks like he's got like a backpack on.
Is it nighttime?
Yeah, it's at night. And he's like riding in like the woods. I'm like looking at him, I'm like, what is he doing? So he's going along, and then he all of a sudden just disappears. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, where did he go? And so I was literally staring there for like the next 30 minutes, like trying to find where he went. And I lost him, so it was kind of weird. So
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Ah.
I was like, should I go down there and look for him? Maybe he needs help.
I don't know if I've really had anything paranormal happen to me.
You've seen some things in the sky, would you say? Like, didn't you see a UFO in the backyard? I saw something in the backyard. This is the only time I've ever seen any sorts of, this is the first time I've ever seen anything in the sky. I was sitting outside staring up at the sky, and it's like in my field of vision, all of a sudden, just bright light just shot across the sky. I was like, but it was like closer than what a shooting star would be.
Yeah.
And I was just like, did I really just see that? And this, yeah, it felt real. It felt like I saw that, but it gets into the whole conversation of like, what is reality? Like, what are you actually seeing right now? And what is your mind generating for you to see? Because we know we don't experience all of what reality is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to like confirm, like, okay, yeah, you saw that. That's what you saw. It felt like I saw something.
Especially if it's just unknown and it's like something you've never seen before.
Yeah. Caffeine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've probably seen some things in the sky, but nothing like UFO centered, at least to my knowledge.
I've told this story before, but I saw a lot of extraterrestrials on a big mushroom trip, and I felt like I interacted with them.
I feel like this is my first time hearing this.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, basically I was out in West Texas a little bit at a buddy's ranch, and we went deep on some shrooms. Like, we did 10 grams plus.
So a pretty good dose.
Yeah, and we were eating them like throughout the day. And I had this really strong laser pointer, and this laser pointer, you could not see where it ended. Like, you could shoot it to Like, say you're on like a balcony in like the city, you could shoot it to like literally whatever. You could, the skyscraper you saw like 50 miles in
Yeah,
Dallas, you
which
could
is
touch the
crazy.
skyscraper. And so you're not supposed to shoot these lasers at planes or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like a huge felony. Caught doing that.
It was honestly a pretty cool laser, but it ended up breaking. So I'll get to that point. But so nights come, we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is really cool because you could see all the stars and stuff. And
Yeah.
we started to see things that looked like planes, but they didn't have like the blue or the green and red lights. And then they were kind of like moving, but they weren't moving like linearly. They were moving like kind of
like circular motions.
yeah, but it wasn't like a pattern. They were just moving kind of like they were like flies. But it wasn't like that erratic. It was like just like they were moving around.
Yeah.
And so we started to like point the laser at them. And each one of these things, there was probably maybe like 7 or 8 that we saw, and they all had like, keep in mind I'm on shrooms, so I have a weird kind of view of what the sky looked like. It almost looked like there was like these little like, I don't even know what it would be like a, you know, like the jellyfish like thing on top of the jellyfish that's like pulsing and like kind of flowing. It felt like these orbs had that around them. And so we were pointing the deal at these things, and they would interact with the laser. Like you pointed on them and they'd move, and then I was kind of like following them. And then it felt like this one was like coming closer towards us, and I was pointing it at it, and it came like it was coming like above us. And I was like, and then I started to get afraid. So I started talking to him. I was like, we come in peace. We don't want to hurt you. Like, we're just curious and all this stuff. And I sound like a dumbass right now. But
and so then it got kind of above you.
It got above me, and we're pressing it, and we stopped. And we're like, what the heck? And so it ended up going past. And then the second night, it was kind of the same sort of deal. First of all, we were like, what did we just... Because it felt like we were interacting with it. It felt like it was a mutual thing.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But then the second night, we were pointing at the deals, and the laser broke all of a sudden. Yeah. I don't know. It was working fine. It just all of a sudden broke. But
maybe they hacked into it. If they have the power to do something like that.
It makes me empathize with people that have like those stories of like, oh yeah, I fucking saw an alien ship or whatever, because every time it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, in my experience, it was like interacting with something that had some sort of intelligence, or maybe I was just hallucinating. I don't know. I was also on a lot of shrooms, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of those alien encounter stories end up with some of these folks kind of going crazy to some degree, not because they're crazy in nature, but because they can't be understood. People don't believe them. It's this traumatic experience of like seeing something that can completely like destroy your perspective of life and religion and the afterworld, everything. And so
100%.
Imagine you're like someone who's super grounded and you have this experience, and like you try to tell people, oh, no, John, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like you didn't see anything.
And
it's
people
like,
end up not
you
telling
100%
people.
know you did.
Yeah.
Because there's one, I think it's called like something encounters or something like that. And I feel like I've told you this story before because it was out in Stephenville, Texas.
Yes.
And this leader of the community, older gentleman, had this experience and kind of just like completely uprooted his life. He became super focused and trying to find these answers and got really depressed and started becoming like an outcast. And I think he ended up dying without ever getting any answers. But it's like, fuck, like, you cannot imagine how isolating something like that could be.
Well, luckily I experienced it with someone else. So we kind of like have that, like, you saw that too? Like, yeah, what was that? We kind of like laughed about it. And yeah, you kind of just have to move through life because it's like, you know, I'm going to dedicate my whole life going back out there. Let's do it again. Let's recreate this thing. Let's find them.
Yeah.
And like feel like that's not really productive, but
there was one that I was watching a video on yesterday about, I think it was west of California. There's a base out there, not in San Diego area necessarily. I think maybe a few hours north, kind of outside of LA.
Okay.
And this must have just happened. I don't know if they went to Congress and were telling the story or whatever. It may have been Commander Fravor. It also could have been. The guy looked familiar. Like I looked like I recognized him. And they're telling the story about how all of a sudden this like square object like approached from the coastline and just kind of hovered over the base for like 45 seconds.
Holy shit.
And these people, this guy was kind of narrating it, was saying like, you know, I've served in the military for 15, 20 years. I've operated with these people who are very intimidating. They're not afraid. And he could hear their voices on the phone as they're like calling in the alert because people are starting to scramble. It's chaotic. And he like, these people were afraid. Fuck. And then all of a sudden, you know, 45 seconds later, the thing just like almost like it was shot out of a cannon, just, you know, disappeared over the mountain line. And it's like, like you almost want to have one of those experiences to just kind of validate.
Yeah.
We're not the only people here. But
Yeah.
then you have that, it's like, you know, I can't imagine having that experience and like trying to go to bed that night. And, you know, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I definitely can understand why those people kind of like lose their marbles for a little bit. And there is a lot of stories about the UFOs. I'm so skeptical just based on.
I believe it.
Really?
100%.
That there's like extraterrestrial beings? Like, what do you believe?
Maybe not so the beings, but extraterrestrial aircraft, an object.
So I believe that there are crafts, but I tend to believe more that there are crafts. Are you thinking that they're from another galaxy or something?
I'm leaning more towards our crafts.
Really?
Like technology that's been hidden for years and years, decades, dating back to kind of like the post-World War II, World War II era. A lot of these treaties were taking place in Antarctica. What's up, puppies?
Hey, doggos.
And don't knock over my things. Oh!
Nice.
But yeah, no, I tend to believe that stuff exists. But from what I hear from some of the more intelligent people in those communities, they say that they're not coming from outer space, they're coming from underneath. So whether they already exist in the Earth's surface, you know, the ice wall.
Jeez.
You know, it's like, is that certainly more plausible? Underneath the ocean, you know, who knows?
Yeah, that's like the last frontier is the ocean. We've not explored all of it.
Well, just even the Amazon, like, you know, what are the odds that something like that would come?
Dodged a bullet right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you think about, like, what if there was a civilization that was on Earth before we came here, and they found a way to survive throughout all the, you know, the asteroids, the floods, and all that stuff, and they went under the Earth, or they went in the Earth, under the water, and they're able to survive, like, those pressures, and they got it just in the nick of time. I mean, we have at least like, okay, so on an aside, right? We're watching Wheel of Fortune, and one of the questions was like, talked about what was the Earth like? What was the Earth filled up with 2 billion years ago? And it was like a question, and it ended up being like, oh, it was a bunch of lava and magma. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but like, how do you even know what the Earth looked like 2 billion years ago? And I wish someone could explain it, because it's almost like if you can't explain something of how you know that's real, I feel like you shouldn't, like, you really don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
like core samples, you know, fossil records.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to some of these deserts and find fossils sitting like embedded in rocks.
That's true.
You know, it's like, okay, does that mean that this is underwater? You know, most likely. You can see like an aerial view. I think Randall Carlson and what's that other guy he typically goes on with?
Graham Hancock.
Yeah, Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
I remember they were talking about like an aerial view somewhere in like California or maybe Arizona, and you could see like the shifts or like the waves of the sand.
Whoa.
And it looks the exact same as like underneath like water. Like if you go to the ocean and you're kind of standing there at the bottom, you can kind of see like the ridges of that, like the sand creates underneath the water. It's the same thing if you're looking from an aerial view in some of these deserts. And like it looks like there was water sitting on top of it and it dried up.
So many mysteries.
Yeah. And even like the Sphinx.
Oh yeah, they thought
like
that
the
was
erosion,
underwater.
they thought it was rainwater when it was actually underwater. So it's
Yeah.
like, so that means where did this 200 feet of water go? Yeah.
That's the pyramid's the craziest one because no one can explain it. How the pyramid got to be where it's at. And just thinking of that, like we don't know how they did that, and we're so advanced in all these ways, but I think we're kind of falling behind in a lot of metaphysical things, because I feel like people aren't like willing to believe in sort of like the woo-woo stuff as much, but clearly like the Egyptians had some sort of power. Maybe that was already there before they got there. Who knows? That's weird stuff. Like even like Elon thinking that there might have been a civilization on Mars at one time. Like they found like water on Mars, and maybe Mars wasn't Earth before that. And how his whole plan is we need to go back to Mars to have like a safety valve for when Earth like gets hit by a meteorite or some shit. Or when we kill ourselves or AI takes over Earth. I mean, he's thinking like so far ahead. But people are upset about that because the everyday person's like,
It doesn't matter.
Struggling with my bills. Like,
Yeah, how is going to Mars going to help me
yeah.
pay my rent?
Yeah, he's super big picture.
Yeah. Yeah, the pyramids, I don't know. I mean, there's just I haven't heard any logical and practical explanation as to how humans would have been able to build it, especially just with, you know, carrying these massive stones, hundreds of tons worth of stones that are perfectly precise. They fit perfectly. They're hundreds of feet up in the air. You're telling me that you had a ramp with rope?
Yeah.
And it's like, I know they had like, you know, hundreds of thousands of slaves and workers and laborers like dedicated to this for years and years and years, but it just doesn't make any sense, the preciseness, because we can't even replicate that now.
Yeah.
And like with the chambers they have that all point to the star, like very specific.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have the technology to do that now.
Or maybe we do, we just haven't accessed it in each one of us.
I don't know.
It's so complicated. Yeah. I mean, I want to say I saw some sort of like article about how like telepathy had been proved to be true. Like there was like people that did these studies of, I don't even know where I saw this headline, but they figured out like two people could be in a separate room and they could guess the same thing. They like really like focus their mind on like the other person and thinking together. And I think that might be some sort of puzzle piece in the pyramid. Like,
well, that's like I've seen that same kind of challenge, and it's like two people will be sitting across, and we can honestly do it, but they'll say like, all right, on count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to say a word. And it's like, how many tries is it going to take for us to say the same word?
Oh, God.
You want to do it?
Do you want to do a word or number?
Let's do a word. So it's like, for example, you know, I say hat and you say beach.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's follow that same progression of our words to find something that can, you know, I don't even know what the next one would be after that, but we can do one.
Okay.
So any word. It can be any word. Just whatever you're thinking. Give me like 5 seconds to think.
All right, I got a word.
Just whatever comes to your mind. Whatever comes to the mind.
I already decided.
You already decided?
Mm-hmm. Or is it like...
It's 3, 2, 1. Whatever pops in your mind.
All right.
All right. Ready?
Yeah. This is hard.
All right. Ready? So on 3, 2, 1, we'll say it.
All right.
All right.
Fuck.
3, 2, 1.
Box.
Mustache.
I was about to say teeth.
Really?
Yeah.
So you said box?
Yeah.
I said mustache?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to get closer. God, box.
Well, I was gonna
That's
say
like the worst
teeth.
one.
Last second, I was gonna say because I was staring at your teeth.
Yeah, I was staring at your mustache.
The
Staring
experiment.
at that porn stash. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
All right.
So we'll do a rerun, just for. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Coffee.
I don't know. I didn't think of anything.
All right. Let's scrap this.
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to say is that maybe the pyramids, they had some sort of like way to use their mind because, I don't know. Fuck. I'm just trying to think like maybe there's something else that we don't know how to do yet.
Would that be like tapping into like a different dimension?
I guess.
Or maybe like a different form of... anytime we talk about this stuff, it brings me back to that movie Lucy, where Scarlett Johansson, she pretty much like becomes like this all-knowing being.
Sure.
Or even Limitless with Bradley Cooper. It's like, okay, if I can access... Because they say you can only really access like 10 or 20% of like your computing power from your brain.
Mm.
It's like, what if I have 95%? Then can I...
Yeah, can you levitate stuff, use the force?
I don't know.
So maybe that's like the next breakthrough is when we have Neuralink and you're able to use all your brain.
Yeah. Or I wonder if it's like the shrinking of the brain. Well, our brains have gotten...
Haven't they gotten bigger? I don't know.
I think they have. Well, I think brain size is... Brain to like weight ratio is considered to be like the indication of like intelligence.
Really?
It's like obviously like a whale is going to have a larger brain, but think of its mass.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look at.
So we've been going for an hour and 23 minutes.